what we mean by industrial policy or industrial development policy. I think that brings the confusion that was coming out. We are focusing more on manufacturing sector or what industry. So I think we need a clear definition in that document to show what are we talking about when we talk about an industrial policy. The second thing that I wanted to note, Doc, is the issue of whole of government approach, where we need to, when policies are coming through, we need to look at the impact on every department. I think at the moment there is a bit of a piecemeal approach, and there are certain departments that are not pulling in terms of the whole of government approach. By whole of government approach, we're basically saying when one arm of government says something or does something, it has to complement or to be complemented by what other departments are doing. So we have a situation where the government comes up with a very good policy. Like right now, we have agreed to reduce the charges for licenses and everything. And then one morning you wake up with some guy coming up with an SI, which is almost reversing that, not taking into account what has been agreed. So what I think we also need to come up with is a dashboard of, you talked about regulatory impact assessment. Actually, I want to have maybe a situation where we have a dashboard where we monitor policy changes that are contrary to what has been agreed. And this often happens when somebody just comes up with a license, says ZBC has to do this. Somebody says when you want to change ownership of a car, to the person who is receiving those, it's a cost. So we are looking at the cost to the producer or the cost to the user. So can we have a situation where the industrialization policy also talks about regulatory consistency? Like what Milton said, we need to have known what happened in ZNIP 1 and what were the objectives and what have we achieved so far, so that we can move on to this one. So I think we need to look at that. So maybe as an introduction to the new policy, we need to give a feedback on what happened, because you talked about certain carryovers that we are taking over from the previous industrialization policy. So it means there was some kind of review somewhere. And we need to just get a snippet or maybe a paragraph or a page where it talks about where we went through in terms of the last policy. It also goes back to the issue of skills that you talked about, which also goes back to the issue of whole of government approach. We have industry that requires certain skills. We have academia that is producing certain skills. We have got an employment board, I think they call it NAMAC or something. Then we've got other institutions that also deal with academia. It also means maybe there's a disconnect somewhere. Africa Investment, we see that we have got a conference that is coming up, which is more on industrialization and industry, academia collaboration. I think it's on the 18th of September. We requested for abstracts or presentations to be done at that conference. Yesterday I was looking at the abstracts that were received. I think we received about 35. None of those are from industry. All of them are from academia. So at the end of the day, it becomes a talk show, and the industry is not contributing to. This is the platform where industry is supposed to inform academia where they are coming from, what their requirements, what are their requirements, what is changing in the industry. And we need that collaboration. It is very, very important. So it has to be enhanced in that particular document. Then I also noted the issue of domestication of our industrial policies. We have already started, I think ZISTA has already started looking at the issues of GDPs for the provinces. And I think we need also sectoral approaches to these industrial policies. So we might need a local policy for, especially looking at issues to do with like infrastructure development. I think in Mutare we have an issue with the roads, the Christmas Pass bypass road, which is actually going to enhance the movement of traffic, issues to do with border controls, issues to do with the border efficiency. At one time you go into Mutare, you find that there are a lot of trucks parked round because the border cannot process those things quickly. what is the backup for those issues which hinder the movement of traffic? So infrastructure becomes very important. Even the neighbors, we talk